So I'm so excited we get to talk as teacher educators because I'm so concerned about our responsibility to prepare teachers to go out into this world of standardization and all these expectations and tests and so forth. And my goal is to help teachers be reflective, not to become technicians. And so I'm eager to hear how you're thinking about that and how it influences what you do as teacher educators.
Reflection, I think it is a disposition, professional disposition, if we want to say, not just a skill or competence. And so I think being an effective teacher, this disposition almost like it need to be like a second nature, sort of, the nature tendency that the teacher is aware of their own actions and the thinking, and also being able to make connections with, the theories and the thoughts and other information, from multiple perspectives. And of course, if you just carry out the standards, you don't need to do this. It's sort of kind of mechanical process.
Well, it implies that you can do it and it will work. There is a right way to do this. Learn it and you will be a wonderful teacher.
And it's guaranteed results.
Yeah, sure. All the children will be above average.
It's just parallel. I think the standardization on the children's learning also, I think a parallel with your sort of a one-size-fits-all expectation on the teachers.
Right. And that's why I think our job is to figure out how do we teach teachers parallel to the way we hope they're teaching children that isn't this standardized one-fits-all approach. I often tell teachers when you come to a class to learn more about teaching, you think you want information about something else, and probably the most important information you need to explore is about yourself. That's a big part of your professional development or your education as a teacher. I couldn't agree with you more that starting with an understanding of yourself, because ultimately I think what the task for teachers is to consolidate, as Parker Palmer says, is an identity for themselves. A real awareness of who they are and what they want to bring to the teaching process. And it's not just how do I meet all these standards and cover my curriculum and all of that kind of thing. And I love that quote from Parker Palmer that good teaching comes from the identity and the integrity of the teacher. And that's so different than how we tend to think of it in the U.S. at least. And we've got to, I think, build into our teacher education, whether it's in college settings or out in the field, opportunities for people to self-reflect and think about who are you, why did you react in that way, what's important to you, what values have influenced what you're doing, what would you hope would be the value that you're nurturing in that child by your response, so that it's a very thoughtful, intentional approach to teaching as opposed to trying to have the right technique for child guidance, that kind of thing.
If I am your teacher and instead of telling you what to do, I ask you, who are you? In a whole lot of ways, how did you play as a child? How do you feel about conflict among children, whatever? Some of you will not like that because that's not how you are used to learning. Nobody asks you about you, they tell you what you're supposed to do. So some of it is learning who am I, so I will notice when I'm behaving like me, and sometimes that's a good thing. And the other one, who is this child? Or who is this person who is my colleague? I've been remembering the way that when I was first in a preschool doing practicum, and I didn't know much about young children. I knew more about me than I did about young children. And I had a practicum supervisor whose name was Sue, and I will never forget her because she was forever saying to us who were really new in preschools, did you see what Johnny is doing over there? And then, because we would look, but we wouldn't be able to tell. So then she would describe it to us. And here we are learning to observe child behavior, to reflect on it, to interpret it, and to take notes on it. And I have practiced and practiced doing that. Now I do it rather well. And learning to pay attention to the other and to oneself. And you have to keep going, back and
back and
forth,
forth.
is what we would like the teachers of young children to be able to do, both with their adult colleagues and with the children and with their parents and with everybody else in the world, because how can we respect each other and ourselves?
In what ways is reflective practice embedded in your work with adults? With whom, when, and how could this occur more often? Reflect upon a time when you felt that your students or mentees really understood the notion of teaching as reflective practice. How, where, and why did this occur? Reflect on the methods you use to mentor, educate, or work with adults. Does it mirror the ways we teach them to work with young children? Why or why not?